Okay, so before we get into the next turn, just a little bit of order of business real quick. In real time, you guys have been giving me some feedback on the video audio quality recently. So I am back on my normal computer, my old computer that's ready to be taken out back and shot with a loud fan and everything. But that being said, I did compare the video settings and output settings and all that on OBS on my computer versus what was on my son's computer, and I think I found what may have been causing some of the video clarity. And then I also tried to tweak the volume settings a little bit so that hopefully the fan of my computer is not as audible, but it may make me a little bit quieter, so you may have to turn the volume up a little bit. And in doing so, as you can see up here in my upper left-hand corner, I got my volume meter, so my output volume's right at 50%, so that I could listen on my headset to a video that I just test recorded to see how the volume sounded there, and it sounded decent there. But now I got this stuck up here, I can't get it to go away. So you're gonna have to stare at my 50 volume up there for this recording, and hopefully it's gone again. I know I did it a couple times before. So anyways, all that's to say is, you guys, I did play some of my old videos, and I can see the video was definitely not looking like my screen looks like when I'm playing. So hopefully that's fixed. I think it's fixed, but definitely give me the feedback on how the video and how the audio sound on this recording. So here we go into our Marius game. And this game, it's a game. That's about as best as I can say right now. Okay. Let me get to Marius's comments as well. Basically, he said, G2 decided for a bit crazy G2. Either it'll be stupid or it'll be okay. Here we go. You're going to love this. That was his quote. I'm not loving it, I'll tell you that. All right, so it does look like I'm getting a little bit of lag. So I'm going to try to keep my movements a little bit slow. Well, maybe it's not too bad. Okay, maybe it's just that moment. Okay. So yeah, you can see. Not what I was wanting to come in and see. And I've been staring at this board, I'll be honest, for a good bit before even trying to record this, and I still haven't got my mind completely around everything I wanted to say and whatnot. So, any case, oh nope, I do want that back here. Come back. Let's see. So his purchase was a bomber, 9 infantry and artillery. So he put the bomber down here in Italy. So, and then he blitzed Egypt and back. So seeing that I only had 2 units here, next turn I'm sure he'd be willing to take the tank and bomber into TJ. That being said, that's the least of my problems, as you can see on the board now. I've got so many things I want to say. I don't know where my brain can't get shifted into the right gear. So okay. So what did he do? So I was all focused on Caucasus. I didn't even think about him splitting in 2 like this. And so basically, he's got 17 units here, 17 units here. He's saying, pick your poison. Because either one, then the other one's sitting on my doorstep. Although Karelia at least is a little bit further back, and he can only build 2 units there versus building 4 units here. But on the flip side, Caucasus can be reinforced by Japan Air, whereas Karelia cannot be reinforced by Japan Air. So he's playing pick your poison. The safer attack would be up this way, but then even if I took it, my units would be 2 spots away from Moscow while he's sitting there. No bueno. So I can't let him have. I just can't. He can't keep both. I can't go in and turtle and have him on G2 sitting in Caucasus and Karelia. Even for my fast accelerated play, which I'm planning on, it's not that fast, right? So at least I don't think. Again, I apologize. My brain's been going 500 different ways on this. So my instinct is I've got to take Caucasus. But I've also got to be able to hold Moscow because he's sitting here with the arch pathway open, and 6 tanks, 5 fighters, and a bomber down in Italy that can hit Moscow. Yeah, it's 4, 5, 6, yeah. So I've got to be mindful of the fact that he's got 12 units, or 14 units counting these guys, staring down at me. And to clear Caucasus, it's going to take nearly every unit I've got to do so, and I can only build 8. And I was playing on my 2 UK fighters going down on a carrier down here. So you see where we're getting at. We've got trouble here. All that said, the one thing that looking at this board I can tell you is if Japan didn't take a turn, let's just pretend Japan's not in this. They're not part of this for the moment. We're just looking at this. I could take my UK air out of here and whatnot, and I could take 2 infantry and 2 fighters at a pretty darn high clip, clear Archangel, take it, land. Even if I had to sacrifice a fighter there, it'd be worse than leaving, I mean, it'd be better than leaving it open. Leave 1 infantry here, come down here and attack with 9 artillery and 9, I guess it would be 9 infantry and 3 tanks. 21 units going into here, which he's only got 17 there. So I could clear that, and according to the, I'd have this one, since we said Japan's not in the picture, I'd have this one attacking as well. I could clear that, and I would have plenty of units living. I could move the 2 AAs down here, and his 4 units and 6 planes aren't going to be a threat. And I would have my 1 infantry, so it doesn't matter that Moscow would only have 8 infantry sitting in it. And then all of this would, be gone. That would be gone, and he'd be very low in units. And so here is the key part. This is the round I got to make it to, because this is where there's no reinforcements through, right? So he's got a round in here where he's not going to be able to do it. So I've got to survive G3 from a blitz here from these guys. And then I also got to survive G4 when whatever's living comes into West Russia and stacks there, and then can attack with a build, with a tank build here and bombers over here. Right? So that's what I'm facing. If I got to survive through G4 to begin with. If I survive through G4, then G5 should be an open free round, and then G6 would be the next challenge round. If I make it to G6, right now I'd be ecstatic, to be honest. So that's my goal, make it to G6, which is bad. G7 is normally my minimum goal, and G8, G9 is what I really shoot for. So I'm definitely falling behind of what I'd want to be, regardless. And the big key is I got to survive G3, because I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to do that yet. Anyways, what I was saying with all that, I would be wiping these guys with a high profit, and I'd be in a good position to do all of that and more, because I'd wipe these guys with good profit, good overall positioning. He'd only have this 2 that he could build up there. So what that tells me is that he is planning on bringing some of this Japan Air, even knowing that I got a KJF brewing. He is planning on bringing some J Air into Caucasus, because that makes it much harder for me to do what I just said. Take Arch, leave a guy here, and clear Caucasus. Additionally, because I know it's a move they likes, when I move all my UK here on this turn, that's going to leave this open where he could blitz this tank, and he could fly potentially these 5 fighters and a bomber into Kaza, and then right on into Caucasus and wipe these guys out. So it takes these guys out of the picture from defending versus Germany, which is what he wants. He'd rather Japan take these guys out than Germany have to deal with them. So, and with the tank going through, I'm only likely to get one hit. So worst case, I hit one and his bomber, which isn't really going to matter to him that much. I kill the tank and the bomber, and all his fighters still survive. So I do believe he plans on having tank, bomber, and some fighters, and I think it was at least 3 fighters, that makes it really a headache, go through here and then land in Caucasus. And then that's where it's going to make things get very risque. Meanwhile, I think he'll try to stack what he can into Burma, because I'm going to have low ground with what I'm going to do. Because the only way I can prevent him from stacking Caucasus is go ahead and use my threat of the 1-2, and I'm going to have to blow my UK into here. And so, yes, that means in order to potentially save Moscow on G3, I'm probably going to lose India on J3. But in doing so, I'm also probably going to have U.S. sitting on Philippines on 3 and be able to take the islands. If not on 3, on 4, I'll be able to start taking islands. And have his fleet, with the UK, US, hopefully have this dead zoned and have his fleet kind of split. That's an iffy. That's going to just depend on a lot of things. That's getting a little ahead of myself. So that's where it's going to go. I want to pause a moment and backtrack in this game. And I commented to Marius, the most ironic thing is happening in this game, and unfortunately I can't unwind it at this point. And that is the bad dice that Marius got is probably what's going to lead to my demise. And what I mean by that, it started when all he had was a cruiser live in C-Zone 7. And so I saw that cruiser live, and I saw that meant, I've got an opportunity to move 2 UK fighters into West Russia 1, which could mean landing on a carrier on UK 2. But even in this setup, I was still like, I could still back out of this and get into a KGF, and I would have fighters come in here into the center, and we could still stabilize and whatnot. And then J1 happens, and he loses a fighter on the cruiser, and the cruiser survives. And then that just is, when this cruiser lives after UK1, it's just like, all right, we can block 36. We can do a 35 fleet. And, everything, let's just go. So I threw this U.S. fleet into a dead zones because I was going to throw a UK fleet down here. And then he does this move. And so my thought, what happened starting with that G1 bad dice and then the J1 bad dice down here is, I know this is all about hyper-aggression early for Axis. Well, maybe I can be more hyper-aggressive with my allies, because we know I like to do a hyper-aggressive KJF. And I thought, well, maybe I can outfast Germany without actually doing all the really thinking it down to the details, because he had those 2 bad dice. When I came into this game, my plan, my strategy was going to be still my usual goal of getting a US 5 stacking of a C-zone. But my suspicion was I was going to do it with leaking a few subs out and supporting UK that way, while UK primarily focused on getting fighters and a fleet going and supporting Russia. And my eyes got big. I saw that chance to go super hyper aggressive with Allies fleet. And I think this is a scenario, this G1 tank build, where you can't outspeed Germany. And so in retrospect, if I get to play Marius again, or any time I face a G1 tank build, I'm going to go back to more of the focus. Okay, stabilize Russia, and then just do the slightly slower. And again, most people say US5 stacking of an island is slow. for me, a lot of times, yes, that is. It's my bare minimum goal. And so that's how I should have played this. I could try to back out of it now, but I feel like I'm already kind of stuck into this play, and so we're just gonna do the best we can with it. So I'm gonna stick with my plan of dropping a fleet and just being hyper aggressive. I think it's gonna be a fast death to me, and I will have learned one of my. I have learned I should stick with my original game plans and not get big eyes and go for the moon. Anyways, we're gonna see how it plays out. At the very least, we'll hurt Japan, just not fast enough, I don't think. So here we go. Getting my brain back together here. So build. Theoretically, I could get away with just a battleship destroyer I thought about, and then using a cruiser block. But I'm going to go with bringing the cruiser in here. I'm going to give him a 60-70% odds, I forget what it is, shot at wiping my fleet if he sends all 6 of his fighters and doesn't support Caucasus, which I don't think he's going to do. So I don't think he's going to do it at all. What I am thinking is that he might bring everything down to C-Zone 36 is a possibility while stacking Burma up and doing a face down. So I may have to set it up where I have enough here that I can dead zone C-Zone 36 just with all my UK stuff. So trying to decide, do I want to even bring him this way, or do I want to go ahead and just take him back up? I didn't even think about this. My Atlantic. I need to get this up at some point. Anyways, too many brains going too many ways. Yeah, the more I look at this, I think I'm already done. Man. I'm just conceding way too much. I just... All right, we're just doing it. Okay, yeah, we're going to do the 2 destroyer, 1 carrier. I dug my grave the moment I flew those 2 UK fighters into West Russia. So, sorry, this game's not going to turn out to be what I had hoped it to be. But I think, you know, I'm one. I published my losses. I've published my humiliations, just as well as I published my victories. This was a learning tool for me, and as I've been saying, I got to play it and see it. I try to watch on the other channels and whatnot, but I got to do to really understand things. And so now I understand that I cannot be faster than Germany in this G1 tank build when done well. You know, I had those other opponents that I've published that just they didn't do this, and so it caught me off guard there. I do want to check one more thing real quick. So yeah, small things. I'm still trying to micromanage when I know the writing's on the wall, but I was just trying to figure out what exactly his odds on my 35 fleet are and what I want to do with my transport and all this other stuff and handling Egypt when it's such a small matter at this point in this game. Okay. Let's go ahead. I think that's our only battle. 2 battles. I really need like 4 hits to feel somewhat comfortable here. And even there, I may have to lay one of my bombers down in Kazakh. Or not Kazakh, to block him from blitzing into Kazakh, which is kind of crazy. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Got just in case. So, I've got to I only get 1 round of shots, because my fighters have to live. So, hopefully they only get... hopefully they don't get that many hits. I'm hoping that maybe my tank will live, and I can retreat my tank back to Kazakh to help with that. That was the other thing. So, taking a risk that I did not want to take. Accelerate this more than I wanted to accelerate it. Very frustrating that I tossed this out too soon. I was hoping that was that pause. I was hoping it was a double hit for me. Gotta be careful when I say anything like that because I was afraid he was gonna get a double hit there. There we go. So, I have already learned a ton from this, and I will look forward to running into him again in the future. Because this is what I needed. I need to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, and I learned what does not stick. I didn't need that. Like I said, I need those fighters, so... Oh, come on. Oh, bomber. Well, that did not go as well as planned. And I can't go follow through with another shot, so we're just going to have to hope the Russian dice roll much better. With that, I'm just going to have to hope the tank helps to reinforce things a little bit. I can't really throw another bomber down. I was willing to sacrifice 1 bomber, but that 1 bomber was a sacrifice to the AA gun. I needed more than 2 hits, though. I needed at least 3. Really wanted 4. And, So, yep. This is down to miracle for me at this point, I believe. So, not my best showing. Alright, well, we'll see how this goes, but I got a feeling this is only going to go a round or two more, and we're going to be wrapping this one up kind of quick. May the dice gods be in my favor. Alright.